We were doing resources. We were doing classification of resources. Yes.
Ma'am,
Yes.
what
Yes,
chapters
ma'am.
would we have for the first test?
For the
First two chapters.
first two chapters, I told you that day, no?
Okay,
The
ma'am.
first two chapters are there for your first exam. It
Okay.
will be somewhere, I think, after 15th of May. So it's a 20
Ma'am,
mark
until then
paper.
we'll have a holiday.
No, not that we know of.
Okay.
You will first have your exams, okay?
Okay.
And I'll let you know how it is. It will not be very descriptive because that will be difficult for a 20 mark paper. So short questions and objective type questions. Okay, short
Ma'am?
answers. Yes.
Okay, ma'am.
Ma'am, we have done classification. We are on the basis
We
of.
did not complete the classification. Which was the last classification that we did?
Ma'am, we were on based on stages of development.
Yeah, so that was the third type of classification, which was based on stages of development. Shivam has not yet come. Okay, we'll start the class. Okay, so yesterday we started with resources. What are resources? Resources are something which are available to us, which should have economic value, which satisfy our want, and it has economically it should help us in production. Okay, so satisfaction, utility are basic ingredients in resources, and we have many different kinds of resources and we have classifications according to it. Okay, the first classification we learned was on the basis of their origin, that was abiotic and biotic. All living things come under biotic, all non-living things come under abiotic, right? And human is also a very important resource because it is he who puts all these resources, natural, whether it is biotic or abiotic, into use. Okay, then second classification was on the basis of exhaustibility. That means they finish or not, right? So we learned renewable and non-renewable. Renewable is that which does not finish, which does not exhaust, which is not destroyed, so we can keep using it again and again, like sun, water, right? And non-renewable is that which finishes, right? So all living things come under renewable because they produce, they multiply. Okay, and all non-living things will come under non-renewable. Okay, they are destroyed after they are used, like fossil fuels. Okay, coal, fossil fuel, all these will come in inexhaustible or non-renewable. Then we learned on the basis of stages of development, right? Stages of development mean we learned actual and potential, right? Actual was what we are using, what the present generation is using. Okay, Neha, switch on your acha, Neha, sorry. Neha ma'am also. Okay, uh, yeah, actual and potential. Potential, actual is that which the present generation is using for its satisfaction. Why it can use it now? Because it has the technology to use it. But potential is what we have left for the future generation, or what we cannot use because we do not have the technological know-how for that. For that, I gave you an example that suppose the waters of the ocean, we know fresh water is scarce, right? It's only 3%, and out of that 3% only 0.3% is available in the form of rivers and lakes. Rest all is in the form of snow and hail and all these things. Okay, so this limited amount of water that we have the know-how to use it. We can use it for all other purposes. We are using this water only, right? But we have a vast 97% of the water resources are in the form of salt, oceans and seas, right? But we do not know how to tap this water. We cannot use, till now we do not have the technological know-how of using this water. We know we can desaline and use water for drinking purpose, but that desalination is expensive. The technology that is there is expensive right now, right? So on a vast scale, for all the entire population to use this water as drinking, till now is not possible for us. Yes, Ronak. Yes, Ronak.
Ma'am, in Pune we get water from dams or lake.
Dams also and rivers also that are flowing, Mulla Mutha river and all.
Okay.
Right? We have got dams also, the Khadakkasla dam, depending on the area from where we get the water. Okay. So these seven seas and oceans, these are untapped resources. We have the resources, but we do not know how to use them. Also, like these only, there are lot many mineral sites, there are lot many coal sites which still we have not tapped. We know they are there, but maybe it is too deep, whatever, we do not know how to use it, we do not have the technological knowledge to use those resources. So these resources come under the heading of potential resources, which we have left, or we cannot use it, we have left it for the future generations. Maybe in the future they would be able to use these resources. We know they are there, but we cannot now use it. Okay, so they are our potential resources. Okay, till now this is clear? Just a second, I'll share the screen and then we'll go ahead. Okay, so these we have learned. Now is next is on the basis of ownership. Who owns the resources? Okay. Stability we have done on the basis of ownership. Okay, now on the basis of ownership, resources are divided into four categories: individual or personal resources, community resources, national resources, and world resources. Okay, individual resources are those resources which is private ownership, which is owned by an individual. So what resources can be owned by an individual?
I'm a mobile phone.
Mobile phone.
It
Okay.
means electronics.
Or and what
Electronics.
else? What else can come?
Ma'am,
Assets like house.
House.
Ma'am.
Yes, very good. Yes, house is also
Ma'am.
house also becomes a resource.
Ma'am, cars.
What?
Yes, and
Ma'am,
cars, bikes,
cars.
vehicles.
Yes,
Vehicles.
whatever
Vehicles.
is under land, buildings, right? These also can become, or if somebody has a farmhouse or
Farmland, ma'am.
yes,
Farmland.
farmland, yes, the cultivation land, all these comes under private ownership. Okay, so these are individual or personal resources because they are owned by an individual or by a group of individuals, right? So it is private ownership. Second is community resources, which is owned by a community as a whole. So what will be the examples of that? What will be
Ma'am,
examples?
ma'am, parks.
Parks,
Ma'am,
yes.
parks.
Ma'am,
Yes.
roads, toilets.
Parks, playgrounds, parks,
Parks.
roads.
Ma'am,
For a
Ma'am,
toilets.
village,
roads are national resources, na, ma'am.
they will come. If it is a village, it becomes a community resource.
Okay.
If you take it in the context of
Ma'am, commercial buildings.
commercial buildings are also owned by some person or a
Some
group
individual.
of people or a company. So that
Ma'am,
will
then
be
banks,
individual.
ma'am.
Banks is community. Yes,
Community.
banks is community, right? Ponds, if you have ponds in a village, so it is a community resource. Okay, so these are community.
Ma'am, pools.
Pools, gardens, all these are community. Schools also, right?
Ma'am, malls.
Malls,
parks?
no. Malls are private ownership. I told you just
Companies.
now because they are owned. Yes, Ronak, you raised a hand. You want to ask something?
Ma'am, that only malls.
Okay, malls is private ownership. Okay.
Ma'am,
Yes.
parks.
Parks are community. Yes, they are owned by community. Okay. Then we have national resources. National resources are which are owned by a nation as such, like the mines. We take out minerals from mines. We take out coal from mines. So these are national resources. Okay. Water. Water is owned by all. It is not a single this thing. Single ownership is not there. Okay. Wells can be owned by single person if it is a well inside a house. But
And fuels.
what?
Fuels.
I
Like
did not.
petrol, diesels.
I did not hear, your voice is breaking.
Ma'am, he is telling petrol, diesel.
Yes, all these are national resources because these are owned by a nation inside their region. Okay. And what are world resources? World resources would be, it is a sum total of all the resources of all the nations. Okay. So all the national resources taken together, when you sum total it, it becomes world resources. Okay.
Ma'am, can a satellite be a world resource?
Satellite is owned by a country, but when you add up all the resources of all the nations, then it will be a part of world resource.
World resources.
Okay.
Ma'am, because
So-
some countries take their parts from other countries.
Yes, they
satellites.
enter into deals with them, and they can
Yes,
use
ma'am.
those satellites. So at that time, they are taking permission and using that satellite. Like for land, also you can take permission. You can take it on rent, but it is still
Yes,
a
ma'am.
personal, private ownership thing. Okay. So and now we are left with now last classification, that is on the basis of distribution. Okay. On the basis of distribution, there are two types. One is ubiquitous resources. These are found everywhere, right? These resources are found everywhere: sunlight, wind, water. You find it everywhere. So these are, and second are localized resources. Localized resources are those resources which you find in particular place, right? Like for example, coal. You do not find coal in all the places, right? There are places where these coal mines are situated. In geography, you must have learned concentrated in the states of Bihar, Jharkhand and all. You have lot many mines there. Yes, minerals, mines. They are concentrated on those. So these are known as localized resources. Like petroleum also you don't find in every region. There are specific regions where you find petroleum. Okay. So these are known as localized resources. Classification is complete for our resources. Okay. Any problem here in any of the classification? All was okay. Neha, any problem?
Yes, ma'am.
No,
I mean,
ma'am.
no, ma'am. No, ma'am. No problem.
No problems? Okay. So now we'll go ahead and start with the next, that is utilization of natural resources. Now, natural resources, its utility is determined by these four things. The 4 points that I have mentioned here. First is its accessibility, right? The place where it is found, it is accessible to us or not. With the present technology that we have, can we access that resource? Okay. The second is in the form in which it is found. That means its quality. Yes, Ria.
Ma'am, your voice is breaking.
My voice is breaking. Try shutting down your
No,
video.
ma'am. Ma'am, it's okay, ma'am.
Yeah, for her there must be some connectivity issue. Try shutting down your video. Otherwise, you log out and then again rejoin. Now it is okay, Ria?
Yes, ma'am, better.
So second is its quality, the form in which it is found. Like some minerals, their qualities in minerals, the gemstones that you find, right? There are qualities of it. So the second uh, thing that determines the utility of this natural resources, its quality. Okay. Third is awareness among people for its use. So people, how aware the people for that particular resources are. If the people are not aware only that such kind of resource exists, then it does not have any utility. Okay. So people should be aware about its presence, about its presence. That means this kind of resource is present here, and they should know how to use it. Okay. And then the last is the cost involved in acquiring that resource. Now if the cost involved is too much, the example that I gave you of ocean water right now, if you start desalinization of the ocean water, the cost for that is too much for now with the technology that we have now. Okay. So if the cost involved is too much, then its utility reduces, because it may not give us that much utility, how much money we are spending just for the for acquiring that resource. Okay. So all these 4 points determine the utility of a resource, how useful the resource will be for us. Okay. Clear to you? Now we come to another topic, man-made resources. I told you, using these natural resources, man also creates more resources. Yes, the example I have taken is cotton. Cotton is a natural resource. It is a biotic resource. Yes, yes, it is found naturally. Okay, we cultivate it also, but it is a natural resource. Okay. Now this cotton, when converted into cloth, it has been converted by man into cloth. Yes, the thread that he has woven, and then he has woven it into a cloth, that is converted by man. Okay. So this is known as a man-made resource. Okay? Is it clear to you what is man-made resource? For example, machines. Machines are created by man. They are also resources because they help you in further production. But where do these machines come from? They are not found naturally. Iron, steel, all the parts are used by man to assemble it into a machine, which then further helps you in production. Okay? So machines, tools, buildings, these resources are man-made resources. Clear? Man-made resources is clear to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And yes,
Ma'am, wood is a natural resource.
wood is a natural resource. Yes.
Ma'am, wood is a natural resource, but man is making wood house, then it will be a natural resource, a man-made resource.
It is a man-made resource. When he
Man-made.
makes a house out of it, a cabin out of it, then it is made by man. The wood is put to use by men and created another resource. Okay? So that becomes a man-made resource then. Okay?
Yes.
So whatever is naturally found in the environment, most of it is put to another use or put to use by man only. That is why I said man is also a human resource and a very important human resource, because without man these resources cannot be converted. Okay, so man is a very important resource, right? Okay, now in this thing, in man-made resources, sometimes natural resources, because of their non-availability or less availability, because they are in limited amount, right? It is not that they are all like wind, water, sunlight, they are unlimited, but other resources are limited in amount. Okay, so what man does is man creates more resources to replace these resources. Now give me an example how man created something else to replace natural resources. Take this example only of
Ma'am,
cloth. Yes,
Ma'am, can you repeat the question?
I said we have lot of natural resources. Yes, but
ma'am.
natural resources are limited. We have learned it, limited quantity.
Yes, ma'am.
Right?
Yes, ma'am.
Limited quantity, but we have unlimited wants. So man has created resources which can replace these natural resources. Can you give me an example? Example,
Ma'am,
take the
solar
example
Ma'am,
of
solar.
panels.
solar panels. Yes, man is harnessing the solar energy, but this solar energy is unlimited for us.
Yes,
I am
ma'am.
asking for those natural resources which are limited for us, right? Take an example of cloth only. Cotton is limited for us. Yes or no?
Yes,
Cotton
ma'am.
is limited for us. Now this cotton has been replaced by synthetic material also. There is nylon, there is neon. Yes? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So man has replaced these natural resources with synthetic resources, because only cotton was not able to satisfy all the unlimited want of man. So man created artificial resource. Yes, nylon and these are synthetic material only, rayon and nylon, right? So he created and then replaced it with the natural resource. Is it clear? So man has done that
Yes, sir.
also. He has created artificial resource to offset the shortage which is there because of these natural resources. Okay.
So, ma'am, can hydroelectricity be an example?
Hydroelectricity is taken out from water only, right? And water is unlimited for us. So this is not a creation of resources and replacing it. It is a natural resource. Say he has created this hydroelectricity. He has not replaced anything. Has he replaced anything? So this is not a example of replacing it with a natural resource. Understood?
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. Now I told you human resource is the most important resource, because he is the one who converts these objects into resources, right? A natural things that we find, unless we put it to a use, there is no point of using it, right? It does not become a resource unless we you people are chatting on your own. Do not do that, otherwise I will disable it. Okay, you have to ask questions. You ask questions to me. Do not chat on your own. Okay, what was I saying? So he is most important resource because he is the one who converts these natural objects into resources which have utility and which can satisfy his want. Okay, so he is a resource creating factor. Now understand one thing: a natural object does not become a resource unless it satisfies the 4 points that I told you. I told you initially only. How will it become a resource? How will it become a resource? Just now I discussed 4
Man
points.
converts it. Man converts it
Just
into a
now I discussed 4 points with you.
Yes, ma'am.
Initially only. What were the 4 points that I discussed? Yes, here. Right?
Ma'am, it's accessibility, quality.
Unless these are there.
Awareness.
Right? Unless a natural resource has utility, it will not be considered as resource. Okay,
Resource.
it is a natural object only for us. Okay, so natural object will convert into resource only when it satisfy all those 4 points. Okay, so man is very important here because he is the one who creates this resource. Okay, and he is the one who is a producer also, and he is a consumer also. This we have learned in the last chapter also, that humans are producers also and they are consumer. Human is the person who is selling or who is creating something, who has a firm, who is producing something. He is somewhere in the market a consumer for other goods also. Yes or no? Yes, so a person who is a consumer becomes a producer, and a person who is a producer is also a consumer in some other place. Okay, so man is both the producer and the consumer, right? And therefore,
Yes, ma'am.
the pace of development of a country always depends on the quality and quantity of human resource. Now, what is the meaning of this quality and quantity of human resource?
Ma'am, it means that if a country has a lot of oil which is of good quality and it's in a good quantity, so it's obviously gonna have a good.
We are talking about human resource, Ved. Pace
just
of
give-
development of a country depends on the quality and quantity of human resource.
Oh, ma'am, you're talking about okay, ma'am. Then, like, ma'am, if a country is producing, so for instance, a country is producing machines and distributing it to other countries. So it has a lot of quantity of machines and plus good quality. So many countries are buying the machines.
How does human resource come in that? It is quality of the machine. I'm talking about quality and quantity of human resource. It is the human resource only which is creating that quality of machine. Yes. So what do the human resource require here? Skill and knowledge. Yes.
Yes.
What is quality of a human resource? Quality of a human resource will mean he has better skills, better knowledge, better education. Okay, and we have done this in developing and developed countries, that countries where people are better educated, have the technical know-how, have better skills, better knowledge, are better developed countries. Yes, this is one of the reasons why developed country economies are called developed economies, because they have a better quality of human resource. Okay, so better quality and quantity. Quantity means number of human resources also. Suppose, for example, just a hypothetical example, if of the total population that is there of a country, if suppose the 50% population of that country, 60% of that country consists of old people and children, so the working force that we are left with is only 40%, right? So there is no quantity in them. The working force is less. Children are not going to work to produce something. They are not involved in economic activities. Old people who have retired are not involved in any economic activities. Okay, so it is the working class which requires to be there. That is the meaning of quality and quantity of human resources. Okay, is it clear? Clear to all children? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Now let's go to next, the principal resources of the world, right? So all the resources, the world resources taken together have been divided into three categories. Okay. The first is agricultural resources. Agricultural resources, they are all food crops and cash crops. You have learned about food crops and cash crops in geography.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, food
Yes,
crops
ma'am.
are what you use for consumption, your own consumption, and cash crops are which you use for sale.
Money
Yes,
purpose.
money purpose.
Sale.
Okay, so all the food and the cash crop come under this agriculture resources. So that means whatever is produced by the farming sector for consumption and as well as for sale come under the agricultural resources. Okay. Second is pastoral resources. Pastoral resources is which we get from livestock rearing, right? Like poultry farm, like dairy farming, milk, skin, meat, wool, whatever we get from the livestock. Yes, that is domesticated animals. All this comes under pastoral resources. Okay. Third is mineral and energy resources. Now, these are natural resources which we find from, which are extracted from earth, right? Like coal, like petroleum, these are extracted from the earth and then they are transformed by humans into finished product, right? Petrol is not found as petrol. It is found as crude oil. Okay, it is a mixture of petrol, natural gases, and diesel. Humans extract it and then they change it into petrol, diesel, and they extract petrol out of it, they extract diesel out of it. So it is humans who are putting that into use. Okay, so these are extracted from the earth and then processed and transformed into finished product. Energy resources, solar, wind, water, these are all our energy resources. We use it for energy purposes, right? And both these resources, that is your mineral and energy resources, they are very important for development of an economy. Okay, is this clear to all of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, the principal resources of the world, the classification of principal resources of the world. Okay, now we are talking about resources, resources, resources. Why do you think it is important that we use these resources efficiently? We have been doing this. This is the fourth chapter we are doing,
Ma'am,
and we
ma'am,
have used
because-
this. Yes, efficient,
Ma'am,
efficient.
ma'am,
We are using.
because ma'am, they might warm out if we don't use them efficiently.
Yes, because these resources are there present
non-renewable.
but in a limited amount.
Limited amount.
Right, only resources like sun, water, wind, they are unlimited for us, but otherwise all other resources are limited for us. And as humans we have been learning this, that there is scarcity, but our wants are unlimited. These resources help us to satisfy our wants. Okay, so these resources have to be used very efficiently and sparingly. Sparingly in the means we have to leave them for the future generations also, right? Why? Because if we recklessly use them, first thing they do is they will harm the environment, which we are facing right now in the form of pollution. Yes, if we recklessly use these resources, they will harm the environment. Okay. Second is we will be exhausting the available resources. That means we will be finishing what is available and we will not leave anything for the future generation. Okay, because when we talked about actual and potential resources, we know that these resources are present, but till now we don't know how to use these resources, the potential resources, right? So what we have available is what the actual resources are there. So if we recklessly use them, we are going to finish it with our generation only and not leave anything for the future generation. Okay, and therefore uncontrolled exploitation has a very harmful effect on the environment also, and it has a very harmful effect on future generation also. Is it understood? Right?
Yes,
Now
ma'am.
there was a very nice line that was said by Mahatma Gandhi, that there is enough for everybody's need, but not for anybody's greed. Yes, you have heard this about this line, that what nature has given us, it is enough for each and every person on this earth, each and every man, but it is not enough for the greed of man, right? And this greed is what we talk about unlimited wants. If we satisfy our one want, another want crops up. Okay, so there is enough for everybody, but not enough for everybody's greed. Understood? So there is a dire need for conservation so that our future generations can also enjoy these resources. Okay, and therefore there is a dire need to go in for alternate resources. Like we are going for solar energy and wind energy, we are trying to harness, right, the solar energy and wind energy, but it
I'm
is not.
also switching to electric cars and vehicles.
Yes, we are also switching to electric cars and vehicles, but it is still not that much, right? Hardly per thousand we find one car, electric car, two cars, electric cars. Okay, so
Ma'am,
yes, Ronak.
ma'am, but now government told that the India will use only electric cars.
Yes, we are coming out with it, but that electric cars production has not increased till that much, right? Second thing we have is we do not have charging points. The way we have petrol pumps every 2 kilometers, every 5 kilometers. Do we have charging points till that? We don't have. We have to charge the car from home. There is a limit till what kilometers it can run. After that, it finishes. So, if suppose a car has a limit of 250 kilometers, we have to charge it again. We don't have points. So, all these are not still made available. Until unless this comes out, even for CNG also, all the petrol pumps are not equipped with CNG fitting. Yes, you have specific centers for that. So even though we are coming with alternate technology, we have not put that alternate technology into extensive use. Okay, is it clear? Yes, Shivam. Yes, Shivam. Yes.
But the electric cars will not produce radiations.
Electric cars does produce some amount of radiation, which is pollution, but very low. It is not to the extent of what these fossil fuel cars create.
Yeah, ma'am.
Okay?
But when the whole population of the country would start using it, the radiation would obviously increase,
Okay,
ma'am.
there
But
are,
if the whole country is using fossil fuel cars, it will increase more, na?
yes,
So
the
there is-
fossil fuel pollution is more than electric cars, so we have to balance. And there is another thing called infrastructure provided by government. If we start thinking, if government gives us a better transport system, then all of us do not need to go by our own vehicles, right now why people use their own vehicles for commutation? Because our transport system is not that good, right? Okay, so if we have a better infrastructure, a better transport system, then less number of people will use. Carpooling is still not used by us. What is carpooling?
Ma'am, sharing of cars.
I'm sharing
Yes.
of cars.
When you are going to,
rides.
yes, when you are going to one
Going
destination
to the same
only,
place.
you can share that, right? So instead of taking out 4 vehicles, you are taking out 1 vehicle only. So all these things have to be adopted by us for these levels to come down. Okay.
Yes.
Right. So we have learned this. Need for conservation is there. Alternate sources have to be found, and we need to control the use of fossil fuel to reduce the pollution also, and to reduce their reckless usage also. Because what we are doing is, with the number of automobiles increasing every day, we are increasing day by day the use of petrol and diesel, and it is fossil fuel, right? It will exhaust one day. We will not be able to keep it for future generations. Okay, clear to all of
Ma'am?
you? Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, because of COVID-19, ma'am, the pollution levels have gone down.
Yes, that is a very good side effect of COVID-19. Yes or
Ma'am,
no?
even the ozone layer start repairing.
Yes.
Who has started preparing?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, that is one good thing about COVID-19. Yes, and you are getting more time with your family. Another good thing.
Yes.
Yes or no? And you can sit at home and attend classes. Another good thing. Yes.
And also you're getting more time with your house.
No, I am not getting. Right. Okay. So the last topic for the day is sustainable development. With then we'll end this meeting. Okay. What is sustainable development? Sustainable development is balancing the need to use resources and also conserving them for the future. Okay, that is the meaning of that. Means what resources are available to us, we are using it efficiently. A balanced use is there. Okay, and we leave them for our future generation only. So we are not using it recklessly. Okay, we are not just satisfying our wants, recklessly satisfying कि नहीं हमारा हो जाना चाहिए, future हमें नहीं देखना. It's not like that. We are keeping it for the future generations also. Okay, so there are basic principles of sustainable development. The first is respect and care for all forms of life, improve the quality of human life, conserve the earth's vitality and diversity. So conservation comes here. Minimize the depletion of natural resources, change personal attitude and practices towards environment, right? Rapid deforestation is happening. Why? Because our demand for wood is going up. What we are doing is we are not planting trees in its place, which is causing harm for the environment. Global warming is a very important fallout of it. Yes, so we have to change our attitude. Enable communities to care for their own environment, right? As a community, as a society, I should care for my localized environment. If we start doing that, we will conserve more. Yes, so these points I don't think I have to explain in detail. Self-explanatory.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sustainable development is clear to all.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, so now Ria is getting disconnected again and again. Okay, so I will stop it here only because we have got less than 1 minute. I'll
Okay,
end the
ma'am.
class here.
Okay,
Tomorrow we'll start with economy. What is an economy and what are the problems of economy? Okay.